64 News.
All right, thank you very much, Jason. We're digging deep here into Super Tuesday now with an Inside Utah Politics panel discussion. James Evans is here, former Utah GOP chair, and Tim Chambless, an associate professor at the University of Utah. Gentlemen, thanks so much for your time. I appreciate you being here, providing your analysis on the night. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Super Tuesday is super crucial on the Democratic side. Tim, let's start with you. What are you watching for as the night unfolds? This could potentially be a make or break night.
It's a big night, big voter turnout in Utah. Unprecedented for Super Tuesday, Utah involvement. Need to see how Joe Biden does with regard to being above that 15% cutoff. See how many votes that might have gone to Mayor Pete, might have gone to Amy Klobuchar, might very well be filtering to Joe Biden, and to see how well that Bernie Sanders does in the state.
Real quick, James, before we get you on that note, we voted by mail, and a lot of people turned in their ballots before now.
That is true.
How might that impact this race? Because people, no doubt, voted for candidates that are now out of the race.
That is true. Up to 3 weeks in most of the 29 counties in Utah. People who voted, that was their decision. There's no do-overs.
James, we're not in any tense moment here on the Republican side. It's pretty much a foregone conclusion. However, President Trump does face some challengers on the primary ballot here in the state of Utah. Do you anticipate a protest vote against the president tonight?
Well, there will be some small protest vote, I'm sure, because there are about 6 or 7 candidates on the ballot, so that's to be expected.
What does that mean?
Well, I mean, no one's ever going to get 100% of the vote, so, and that's perfectly fine, but President Trump is going to do well here in Utah. In
2016, he got 45% of the vote. You would expect a Republican to do better in Utah. Do you believe he's won over some of those Republicans that did not vote for him in 2016?
Absolutely. He's overwhelmingly won over, I think, the vast majority. So we're just fine here in Utah with respect to the results with President Trump.
Let's go to the possibility of a brokered convention. Tim, first tell us what that's all about.
That's when, at the national convention, that there's no first round victory by a candidate. And then it goes to a second or third round. The last time that occurred for the Democratic Party was 1952. The last time for the Republican Party, 1948.
There's speculation that might happen again this year. So what could that mean? Well,
there were 24 Democratic candidates that started. We're down to approximately 5 now. And it could very well be that Bernie Sanders may end up being first, but be 200 or 300 delegate votes short of the national convention of 1,991 votes needed for a first round victory.
James, assess what you're seeing on the Democratic side.
Well, I think there's going to be perhaps some difficulty for the Democrats, because in round 2 at the Democrat convention, those so-called superdelegates get to vote. Remember, those are the ones that Bernie Sanders fought against, because those were the establishment, the insiders that were not elected as delegates. Now, they're going to be able to weigh in on round 2, and if that puts Joe Biden or Bloomberg over the finish line, then I think you're going to see some serious difficulty, you know, with respect to everyone coalescing around a Democrat nominee.
That could lead to a lot of contention. We saw that in Utah in 2016, where it by and large on caucus night went for Bernie, but had it gone to a brokered convention, super delegates, some of them were going to vote for Hillary Clinton.
That's right. We'll see fewer super delegates in 2020 than we had in 2016. Back in 2016, it was a statewide caucus, one day, paid by the political parties. It's different now with a statewide caucus.
Explain what that means, though. So Utah has 29 Democratic delegates, but super delegates take us up to 35. How does their vote differ from a regular delegate?
Well, what happens is they represent basically the elected officials or the committed party officials. And so they may be perceived to be more of the establishment wing, less progressive.
They represent the elite. And this is what Bernie Sanders has been fighting against. So I think you're going to see some serious contention, because they have not successfully addressed.
And do you think that bodes well for President Trump, if that happens?
Well, yeah, it will bode well not only for President Trump, but it goes to the larger question about who are the voters there to vote for, the establishment or those that are representing them.
Tim, your thoughts on a potential divide, how could it hurt the party?
Well, if the party's divided, that's going to certainly hurt. But the party had 24 candidates this time around. 4 years ago, the Republican Party had 17 candidates. The party was divided.
Okay, real quick, Super Tuesday. Do you guys like the move to Super Tuesday and what we've seen from it so far, James?
Well, I'm of two minds. You know, I'm a big caucus guy. I certainly enjoy the caucus because it does bring out it gets more people involved, you know, at the grassroots level. But with Super Tuesday and Utah being a part of that first wave of decision making en masse, you know, it certainly does elevate the profile of Utah, and that's a good thing.
Do you like the move to Super Tuesday?
I do. I like it. Early March. Fact is, we're linked in with California and Texas, and with a large number of states, 14. This gets attention for the country.
Yeah, it's been exciting to have, you know, politics aside, have the candidates paying attention to the state of Utah. Gentlemen, great insight. We're going to check back with you a little bit later in the show, and that time we're going to focus more on potential matchups in November. So stick around, and we'll get back to you.
Right.
For now, we'll send it back to you at the desk.